liftoff of the Delta rocket carrying Blast.
Welcome to Discovery Fest 2021. My name is Sebastian Martinez. I will be your host tonight. We are very, 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 very excited to invite NBA Math Hoops to be with us again tonight, this evening. They're going to be showing a little bit about their awesome free product for teachers to teach kids how to learn math through the sport of basketball. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Coach Nessa and Coach Calvin with NBA Math Hoops. Coach Nessa and Coach Calvin can take it away.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? My name is Vanessa, and with me today is Coach Calvin. Today I'll be your pilot as we go through our training camp for NBA Math Hoops for the 21-22 season. Thank you, Sebastian, and to Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Central New Mexico. We are so happy to be here another night. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, NBA Math Hoops is a free product that we're going to be talking to you about. Take some time to scan the QR code on your screen. We want to make sure that you have access to all of the next steps, emails that we'll be sending out for anyone who would like to participate this season. Before we get really into the nitty-gritty, I want to give a huge shout out to our partners. So first off, to the NBA, we have a royalty-free license with them. That's what allows us to use all of the NBA players' photos and player stats. And so we're super grateful to them for that. Also, a huge shout out to Hasbro. We have an in-kind production agreement with Hasbro. They actually allow us to have all of our physical board game materials 100% in kind, which is what allows us to provide this program free to as many educators as we can. And then again, just to our Learn Fresh team, Coach Calvin's in the house. There's a lot of individuals behind the scenes who are doing a lot of important work to ensure that we're able to get a smooth season kicked off for you. Now let's talk a little bit about the impact of our program. What I love about this page is we're actually in the process of updating it. We just surpassed 400,000 students served all time. We're already reached a little over 60,000 this year alone. So that number is only going to continue to grow. And with those students, 93% of our educators are recognizing that there's an increased knowledge and student teamwork. So very important social and emotional skills that are going to be used throughout their education, specifically sports, and definitely their careers. So this program has a lot of impact. And the last number I want to highlight here is over 200 million math problems have been solved using NBA Math Hoops, including our physical game and our digital games. That means students are having fun while learning and practicing their fundamental math skills, and that couldn't make me any happier. Now, the learning objectives of our curriculum are academic achievement, social and emotional growth, and increased engagement in STEM. Now, to really give you an idea of what our season has to offer or what NBA Math Hoops looks like in one season, here is our season preview video for the 21-22 season.
NBA Math Hoops leverages the game of basketball and NBA and WNBA players and stats to engage elementary and middle school students in math and social emotional learning. Now more than ever before, the spaces and places in which students are learning are rapidly changing. To meet this moment, LearnFresh is excited to offer a suite of NBA Math Hoops experiences for the upcoming season that allows students and educators to access the benefits of Math Hoops across a variety of learning spaces. The NBA Math Hoops physical board game is designed for classrooms, out-of-school time programs, and at-home usage. Through the board game, students draft a team of NBA and WNBA players and complete math problems using real player statistics to shoot, foul, steal, and score points, all while building fluency with core math operations and key social emotional skills. The game is supplemented by a math and SEL curriculum that builds a basketball season for any classroom or out-of-school time space. The NBA Math Hoops digital game is designed for facilitated and independent usage by students in any learning environment with a device and internet access. The digital game replicates the mechanics of the physical board game experience in an engaging virtual environment, featuring real-time NBA and WNBA player stats. The more students play the game, the more players they unlock, adding additional strategy to the team management process. The digital game is available globally as a downloadable app for Android and iOS, and as a web-based experience for educators and students in the NBA Math Hoops program. In addition to the core program, students can also access the NBA Math Hoops Skills and Drills mobile app for supplemental learning. The Skills and Drills app focuses on additional practice with core math skills in fun mini games like a three-point contest and locker room challenge. The more students engage in the app, the more rewards they'll unlock. This year, with an expanded suite of tools, educators can choose to implement NBA Math Hoops in facilitated or independent learning environments while catering to different learning styles. For more information about bringing the NBA Math Hoops experience to your community, please visit our website at www.nbamathhoops.com.
What I really love about our program is that there's so many elements to help meet students exactly where they are. So no matter what type of season they're in, whether they're learning from home, from a computer screen, or in person, we have something for them. We also have something for our after-school programs. So let's go ahead and dive into that. And I want to echo a little bit about some of the topics that were in that video. So today we're really going to focus on our core curriculum and our board game. We're going to go through our 12 curriculum lessons in depth to really give you an idea of what the curriculum has to offer our students. With that, our program also offers the digital element. So we have our digital game, the NBA Math Hoops. This emulates our physical board game in a digital format, and that's downloadable on iOS and Android. Then we have our NBA Math Hoops Skills and Drills app. This app is so fun, super engaging, and a great supplemental tool to our program. It's much like NBA All-Star Weekend. There's different contests, two-point contest, three-point contest, a dunk contest, and there is like you unlock jerseys in different arenas. Super fun, super exciting. Here at LearnFresh, we play as well. And since we're on the topic of digital games, the digital game, I want to make sure that you understand how to connect to our digital platform. And then the rest of the presentation will focus on our physical board game. So we'll take a quick second to see what it looks like, how to connect our students that way.
To access the NBA Math Hoops digital game for your class, simply download the app on any Android or iOS device, including phones and tablets. Have your students create individual accounts independently, and once they've done so, provide them with this access code, which is available underneath class data within the LFCA. There is a spot within the app where students can input this code to activate classroom mode and link their account to your group. Once all students are set up, you can select the board game tab and click Seasons. Here you can select Create Season and input a start and end date for the year. You can also choose to enable or disable division calculations within the game. Once you've created a season, you can view it here. It will show a full schedule, which is generated by the system. Students' names will be anonymized with their usernames, but you can make edits to student matchups and the overall schedule. Also, within the board game tab, you can select Usage, which will show you a summary of student participation and accuracy while playing the digital game.
Now, before I leave this page, I really like to highlight the benefits of using the digital game. Here, where you can see on the usage tab, the progression of our students. So with their accuracy, how many games they've played. This is a great tool for our educators who are using NBA Math Hoops, or even just like using it for a staff development opportunity. This here can be, you can go and like screenshot it once a week. It'll give you a really good idea of the progression of the program and how impactful it is in your classroom. Moving forward, the last pillar of our program is our program events. So pictured here on the left is a regional tournament that we had hosted with the 76ers. Coach Calvin is overseeing a buzzer beater moment. He still talks about it to this day, says the energy was off the hook. We tried to bring out players and like representatives from the NBA, WNBA in certain markets. So it's a great opportunity to bring our students out. On the top right, we have a picture of our NBA Math Hoops Live that we hosted with the Warriors. That's an opportunity to bring our board game to life on the court. The students still do the math, but we bring out players to actually take the shots. And then here at the bottom, you can see a picture of Chris Paul. He's actually talking to students after we've renovated a STEM lab that was renovated by NBA Math Hoops in partnership with the NBA and the Chris Paul Foundation. And he's talking to students about the importance of STEM and education. Those are just some ideas of some of the special events that we offer throughout the season. Now let's talk about NBA Math Hoops season at a glance. July through November, that is our educator training camp season. And after today, you will be set to start season play, which goes through November to January. February through March, we'll host our regional tournaments in select markets. March through May is when we'll host our special events, much like the Chalk Talks or our Math Hoops Live events. In June is our national championship tournament weekend, which I'm excited to announce is being hosted by the 76ers this summer. We're so excited to have them host us. Every year teams bid to be able to have the opportunity to host. So super exciting. And then June through August is our summer Math Hoops edition. That is a condensed version of our program to help meet the needs of summer learning loss through the summer.
Now, Coach Nessa, we have a quick, there's a question.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and address that.
All right. So we have a question from a teacher in Alamogordo, New Mexico. Her name is Miss Garcia. She is asking, what age range is the game designed for?
Great question. So the curriculum was designed for grades 3rd through 8th. However, we have seen it tailorable all the way down to kindergarten and all the way up to high school, specifically with our digital formats. So the physical board game is best for 3rd through 8th grade.
Great. That was the only question we have so far.
Okay, perfect. We'll continue. Now, I do want to mention, we are not just going to hand you off all of this information and leave you out to dry. We have what's called the Learn Fresh Coaches Association. That's called the LFCA. This is our educator platform to provide support to you all season long, as well as what houses all of the curriculum and information you need to have a successful season. So at the end of today's presentation, we are going to ensure that you walk away with an account to have access to all of our materials. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of the actual curriculum. Just as we said before, our curriculum is designed for grades 3rd through 8th grade. The curriculum has 12 lessons, all of which are STEM based. And then if you see a heart next to the lesson, it includes a social and emotional extension. And if you see the running man next to it, it includes a physical activity opportunity. Lessons run about 30 to 45 minutes long, and we do recommend 2 to 3 times a week of lessons. There we go. Now, lesson 1 is where we introduce our sportsmanship contract. This is where I'm excited to tell educators, congratulations, you've just become a commissioner of an NBA or WNBA league, whichever your heart desires. And your students are now going to be coaches of their own NBA or WNBA team. And like any sport, we're going to have them sign a sportsmanship contract to start off the season. We're going to ask that you have your students agree to positively encourage their teammates and opponents at all times. We're also going to ask that they work to improve their own learning every single day, and so that others can improve around them and just be the change that they wish to see in their classroom and their community. And lastly, we're going to ask that our students agree to celebrate each other as winners and learners through the entire season. Now, Sportsmanship Contract Day is a fun opportunity to really hit home the excitement of the program. This is an example of what signing day could look like in your program. These educators took it to the next level, created backdrops, photo opportunities, and really just brought it home to get our students excited about the program and really make them feel like they just joined the NBA or WNBA. Now in lesson 2, we go into understanding key statistics. This is where we'll teach our students just how to read our player cards, which they'll use throughout the entire board game, as well as all of the different ways to write percentages and calculate them. Here's Emma Meeseman's player card, arguably one of the most drafted players in NBA math hoops because of her stats. This is a great lesson to really bring home what they'll be using throughout the entire season. Lesson 2 is also an opportunity to take your students out of the classroom and take them onto the court. The way that they learned how to calculate the stats, now they're going to calculate their own player stats. They'll take 10 free throws, 10 two-point shots, and 10 three-point shots and figure out, okay, where am I at? How am I doing? And they'll have multiple times throughout the season to do this so they can set goals themselves. What's really awesome about this new physical activity is we have blank player cards. Our students can now create their own player card, NBA or WNBA, and become a part of their season. Now, I did have an educator ask me, Coach Nessa, can I have a player card? Absolutely. Our students love when our educators get out there, shoot balls with them, show them the buckets you got, and create your own player card. They may just want to draft you, which we'll get to a little bit later. Now the draft. Why are we having our students draft? Instead of just handing them player cards, it's important to give them a sense of ownership and cooperation amongst each other and the program. It also provides an opportunity for teamwork since NBA Math Hoops is played in teams of 2. Now here at Learn Fresh, we do recommend a snake draft. And for those of you who may not know what that is, not to worry, our curriculum and today's presentation will dive into that. So snake draft simply means that the draft order is going to reverse every round. Teams will draft 1 player per round. And in math hoops, teams must select 1 player card for each color. So as you can see here at the bottom, there are 5 player cards to represent the 5 positions on the court. Our yellow and red player cards represent our guards. Our blue and purple player cards represent our forwards. And our green player cards represent our center. What this will look like in your classrooms is if you have 10 students, we're going to go ahead and team them into pairs of 2. We're going to assign them a draft order. In my example today, I'm going to use numbers. So teams 1 through 5. Round 1, drafting their yellow player card. They're going to draft 1 at a time, 1 through 5. Round 2, drafting their next color player card. They will draft teams 5 through 1. If my animation would like to work. There we go. So teams 5 through 1. Then for their next player card, we'll go back 1 through 5. Finally, for their purple player card, we will go teams 5 through 1. And for their green player card, teams 1 through 5. This will promote fairness and ensure that teams are not stacking their team. We do suggest to have our draft table set up like the picture here on the right with the player stats facing up. We know that our students are going to get really excited about plenty of the players that we have on our rosters. We have players in there like LeBron James, Devin Booker's, Damian Lillard. They're going to be so excited to see them, but we want to make sure that our students are choosing their player cards based off of statistics. And there are many instances where WNBA players have better player stats than the NBA players. Now, we're not saying that they can go head to head on the court, as Coach Calvin says, but what we are saying is that in the game of math hoops, it's all about the numbers, and that's what we're looking for. So we want our students to make their decisions based off of the best statistics.
Coach Nessa, we got 2 more questions.
Sweet. Let's have it.
Awesome. So the first question is, how is the summer program different from the regular season?
Great question. Coach Calvin, you want to take this one?
Sure. So the normal season guide takes you through 12 lessons. The summer program is, I believe it's like 6 lessons, and we condense that so that those students can still get those math reps in throughout the summertime. So it's still a fun way that they can still be engaged with our program. Just, you know, how summer programs are a little bit shorter. You know, it's almost like a short season of the NBA, if you will.
That's awesome to have those options. Awesome. So the second question is, how can I encourage my students who may not be particularly interested in playing basketball or may not know how to play basketball or know much about the NBA?
What I love most about this program is that even before I started facilitating it, I wasn't the biggest basketball fan. I'm now a huge basketball fan because of the program. This program, because it's math driven and math is such a universal language, it really does unify your classrooms. It brings in the students who are maybe more athletic, more on the cool side, and maybe your brainiacs, the ones who like to learn, the ones who love doing their homework. It brings them together and it really creates an even playing field for them to communicate and get to know one another. Really, all of the tutorial videos that we have throughout the season highlight how the game works, and it also compares it to basketball. And that's another great way to teach your students so that they understand because we understand that it's basketball driven, but it's really math driven. And so that if we hit that home, most of our students will come along. Would you agree, Coach Calvin?
Yep, that was the final question there.
Perfect. Okay, guys, we're going to get into physical gameplay. How do we actually play NBA math hoops? Well, let's see. What are we going to actually get in our board game? We're going to get our game board or the court. That's here pictured in the background. We're going to get 2 dice, 1 red, 1 blue, 2 player tokens, 1 WNBA and 1 NBA, 2 sand timers, 2 shot planners with markers. I'm going to throw a pro tip out there. Our markers write beautifully. They do not erase beautifully. Highly suggest getting Expo markers, the thin ones. Those tend to help. And then a scoreboard and a spinner. Now, to start off the game, the same way we would a basketball game, we're going to have a tip-off. And what tip-off looks like is each team is going to take 1 die, and they're going to roll at the same time. The higher number is going to get to go first, and the lower number is going to get to go first in the second half. Now, depending if that higher number rolled was odd or even, that's going to determine what side of the court they start on. Now, in terms of timing, the game is played in 2 10-minute halves, so 20 minutes total. To really give you an idea of what tip-off looks like in real time, here's Nick and Jeremiah.
Welcome to the NBA Math Hoops training video covering the tip-off and timing. At the beginning of every NBA Math Hoops game, we start with a tip-off. 1 player from each team will grab a die from the center of the board and go ahead and roll.
I rolled the higher number. I rolled a 9. This roll also determines which side of the board you're on. Notice on one side of the board, there's all even numbers. On the other side of the board, there's all odd numbers.
Because Jeremiah rolled a 9, he'll start on the odd side. So we'll take our player tokens and place them on the appropriate side of the board. We also want to talk about timing. So we time the NBA Math Hoops game in 2 10-minute halves. There are a couple tools that we provide you with to do this. Most importantly, there's the NBA Math Hoops shot clock. It's available at nbamathhoops.org/shot clock. You can also use any online timer or a watch if you'd like.
What I love most about the tutorial videos that we have is that they were actually created and intended to teach educators about the game. But when we use it with our students, they absolutely love it. It's a great way for them to grasp it and hear it in a different language from the language that they're used to hearing in our classrooms. So definitely don't be afraid to use these tutorial videos as you go through each curriculum piece. Now we're going to go over player cards just for a moment so that we understand what we're looking at when we're taking a shot. This is Elena Deladon's player card, and as you can see on the pie graph, the orange area is her field goal percentage or her 2-point percentage, and she's got a 52% field goal percentage. In the lined or graded area, that's her 3-point percentage, and she has about a 43% 3-point percentage. Now, in order for the shot to be good, we place our spinner over the pie graph and shoot the spinner, and it has to land in that area to actually get that value of shot. Now, if the spinner lands on the line of that area, we're going to call that a good bucket. Now, how exactly are we going to take a shot? When it's their team's turn, they're going to take both die and they're going to roll. They're going to get two numbers. Putting the larger number first and the smaller number second, they're going to use their shot planner to calculate those two numbers using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So what this looks like, if I'm on the even side and I rolled a 5 and 3, I'm going to write 5 first, then 3 first. I'm now going to do my math across. 5 plus 3 is 8. 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 times 3 is 15. And 5 divided by 3, well, maybe I don't have enough time and I'm going to go ahead and put a slash through it because it doesn't result in a whole number. But for better opportunity and more choices, if I wanted to, I can round to the nearest whole number, which in this case is 2. Why it's important to put the larger number first is because when we put the smaller number first, we can sometimes calculate negative numbers, and there just are no negative numbers on our court. So we want to make sure students are putting the larger number first. Now, just to remind you, in this example, we are going to be on the even side. So I'm now going to look at all of my calculations and look for even numbers to take a shot with. In this example, I've calculated 8 and 2 as options for me to shoot from on the even side. The number 8 spot is a purple 3-point shot that I can use with Nafisa Collier. And the number 2 spot is a 3-point shot that I can use with Luca. Now I'm going to go into the statistical analysis of the 2 player cards. I see that Nafisa has a 36% 3-point percentage and Luca has a 33. I'm definitely going to go with Nafisa because she has a better chance of making the shot, and I want to get that 3 points on the board. So I'm going to place my spinner over Nafisa's card, spin, and hope that she gets me those points. To give you some context of what this looks like on the board, this is what our courts look like. And everything outside of this half circle line is a 3-point shot, and everything within it is 2 points. So as you can see, the number 8 and 2 spot are 3-point shots. To see what this looks like in real time, let's take a look again at Nick and Jeremiah taking the first shot.
Welcome to the NBA Math Hoops training video covering the first shot. At the start of every NBA Math Hoops game, one team takes both die from the center of the board and rolls them.
You'll notice from the previous video that I started with the ball because I rolled a higher number, I rolled a 9. So I get to draw up my play first. I'm going to roll the dice and get 2 numbers. The 2 numbers I got are 6 and 3. Now I'm going to start drawing up my play on the shot planner. I'm going to write 6 and 3 in the first 2 boxes after roll, always putting the bigger number first. 6 and 3. And then in the next 4 boxes, you'll see there's 4 mathematical operations. In the first box is an addition sign. The second box, there's a minus sign, subtraction sign. In the third box, there's a multiplication sign. In the fourth box, there's a division sign. I'm simply going to do the math across. 6 plus 3 is 9. 6 minus 3 is 3. 6 times 3 is 18. And 6 divided by 3 is 2.
Now that Jeremiah has done the math, he's going to look to the game board to figure out where he can take a shot from. You'll remember that Jeremiah is on the odd side, so he can't take any shots with even numbers that he's calculated. But he can use the odd numbers, and he has 2 of them, 9 and 3. If you look at the game board, you'll see that 9 is right in the middle. It's a blue 2-point shot, and you'll see that 3 is a red 2-point shot. Now he's going to take his red and blue player cards and compare the players' statistics.
My blue card is a 2-pointer with LeBron James, and my red card is a 2-pointer with Tiffany Hayes. Now I'm going to go into the statistical analysis of the 2 players to decide who has the best opportunity of making the shot. Tiffany Hayes has a 46% field goal percentage, but LeBron James has a 48% field goal percentage. I'm going to choose LeBron James to take this 2-pointer.
So Jeremiah takes the player token and places it on number 9, the number that he's selected to take the shot. He'll also take the spinner, put it over the pie chart on the player card, and go ahead and take the shot.
Made it. 2 points for LeBron James.
So Jeremiah puts the 2 points on the scoreboard. Regardless of whether he made or missed the shot, I'll take the next turn.
Always exciting, waiting to see if that spinner is going to land where it needs to go. Jeremiah definitely got those points though. So next, throughout the rest of the curriculum, we're going to introduce new elements of the game that increase intensity and also help with the students practicing their fundamental math. So first, we're going to go over a turnover. A turnover is simply a change of possession. In basketball, this occurs when the offense has no available shots and the ball goes to the opposing team. What that looks like in NBA math hoops is if I'm on the odd side and I roll a 4 and 2, I'm only going to calculate even numbers. Can't take a shot with even numbers. I'm on the odd side. So the ball's going to go right back to the other team. Now, a pro tip or a fun game rule that we have, almost like the Yahtzee of NBA math hoops, is a 0-0. Students roll a 0-0. That means they can take a shot from any side on their any spot on their side of the board. Doesn't guarantee the points, but it is a free shot. Are there any other questions so far?
We actually have a couple questions. So the first question is going to be about the regional tournaments. So where is the nearest regional tournament for our folks in New Mexico? And also in that question is, do NBA and WNBA players attend the regional tournaments?
So great question. Right now, we're in the process of finalizing all of our regional tournaments. We can host them virtually or in person. It really just depends on the market. By the time we get to winter break, we'll have all of that narrowed down. And on our LFCA account, you can look at our event calendar and find the nearest regional tournament to you. We'll also be reaching out to you to invite you to the one that you will fit in with the region. In terms of players coming out to regional tournaments, we always hope that the NBA will send representatives from either team that's hosting, but we can't always guarantee it. But we absolutely do try to have the best experience for our students when they come.
That's awesome. So with the regional tournaments and even the national tournaments, how many teams usually are able to attend those?
Coach Calvin, you want to take that one?
Sure. So each educator will be allowed to bring about 2 teams, so 4 students total. We knew that if we allowed every student to come, we probably couldn't house that event. So we decided to pick the top 2 teams that are part of your classroom or program. And then as far as the national championship, we select 20 kids that are playing throughout the whole, throughout every student playing our game. So we end up, that's a tough pick too, thousands and thousands of kids, and we have to narrow that down to 20 students. So that's a really a unique group that ends up being selected.
Yeah, and I will say we're in the works of trying to host a national virtual tournament every summer that we hope to get representatives from every state, regardless if there's a team market. But that's still in the works, and hopefully you guys will hear about that before the springtime.
And that
Any
was
other
the last
questions?
question. Yeah, that was the last one.
Perfect. All right, let's move forward. Let's take it down the court. So in lesson 5, we're going to introduce steals. Steals in basketball is simply when the defense takes the ball from the offense. And in NBA math hoops, this occurs when the defense catches a mathematical error made by the offense. This is one of my favorite parts of the curriculum. This is where it really gets exciting because now our students are holding each other accountable for their math. Now, I will say, when we're holding each other accountable, we need to make sure we're doing it correctly, because if the defense calls a steal incorrectly, the offense is automatically going to be awarded the points for that shot. So we got to make sure we're checking up twice for sure. Now, when can I call a steal? The defense cannot call a steal until the offense has selected their shot and placed down that player token. So much like when we're calling a foul or some of our other elements, that player token must be put down first. And a game rule is that both teams need to keep their shot planners fully visible at both times so that the teams have the opportunity to call steals when available. To see what a steal looks like in real time, here's Nick and Jeremiah.
Welcome to the NBA Math Hoops training video covering steals.
We didn't mention yet what the opponent does when the offense is drawing up the play and choosing who to shoot with. In NBA Math Hoops, you want both teams to do the math so that they're working on their mathematical skills and because they have the opportunity to steal the ball.
So I'm going to take my turn now. I'm going to roll the dice and get 2 numbers. I get 5 and 2. So now Jeremiah and I are both going to do the math on our shot planners for our teams. I write down 5 and 2 in the roll boxes, and then I do the math across. 5 plus 2 is 7. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 times 2 is 10. And then we get to division, which in this case, 5 divided by 2 does not result in a whole number. I'm going to make the choice to round that down to 2. 5 divided by 2 equals 2. From here, I'm going to figure out where to take a shot from on the court. So remember, I'm on the even side. I can only use even numbers that I've generated. I'm going to take my player token, put it on the 10 spot, which is blue, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Good job.
Thank you. And
Steal. Woo! I am able to call a steal because, as you may have noticed, and as I noticed, Nick did the division wrong. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, which rounds up to 3. He put 2. I had to wait until he put the token down to give him a little opportunity to correct his math, but also to see who I would be able to shoot with if I stole the ball. He placed his token on the blue player in the 2-point position, so I get to shoot now with my blue player in the 2-point position. And that's LeBron James.
so Jeremiah's going to take the shot because he correctly called steal. But let's say I had wrote down 3 in the division box. Jeremiah calls steal on me because he thinks I rounded in the wrong direction. But I was actually right. If he calls steal in that scenario, I automatically get the 2 points for that shot that I was going to take with Giannis Antetokounmpo. If I was taking a 3-point shot, I would automatically get 3 points on that call as well.
So just to reiterate, when we steal the ball, we do have to take the same value of shot. So if it was a 2-point shot with the certain color, then I have to use that same color with the same value on my side. Now in lesson 6, I do want to go back real quick. Actually, with steals, this is my favorite time as a pro tip to reintroduce the sportsmanship contract. Steals can be really fun, but we want to make sure that our students are doing it with class and sportsmanship. All right, lesson 6, we're going to introduce fouls. So why call a foul? This is an opportunity to see that maybe an offensive player has a low free throw percentage. So we're going to go ahead and foul them, or we just want to slow down the game, take a little bit of control of that game clock. In NBA math hoops, those are all the reasons we would want to call a foul. And we do want to make sure that the defense calls a foul after the offense has selected their shot. So here's Russell Westbrook's player card. He has about a 66% free throw percentage, a lot of gray area, not the best free throw percentage, not the worst, but definitely a lot of gray area. So if I were using Russell Westbrook and Coach Calvin fouled me, I would need to take foul shots. So in this example, I'm going to say I was taking a 2-point shot. He called a foul. Time for me to throw the basket. To shoot the ball to the basket. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to roll my 2 dice and get 2 numbers. I'm then going to use this grid to determine whether or not the shot was made or missed. So for my first roll, I rolled a red 3 and a blue 6. And where those 2 meet up, it is an orange square, which means it is a made shot. I got the bucket. For my second throw, I rolled a red 7 and a blue 4, and that is a gray square. Missed the shot, took too long, pulled a Giannis, got in my head, totally tanked. So the way fouls work is as many free throws as the players will take as many free throws as their original shot was worth. So a 2-point attempt is 2 foul shots and a 3-point attempt is 3 foul shots. Teams can call a maximum of 5 fouls per half. Now, again, to see this in real time, so we know all the mechanics, we'll watch Nick and Jeremiah teach us about fouls.
Welcome to the NBA Math Hoops training video covering fouls and free throws. This is a great additional rule to introduce to your students to increase the level of depth in the gameplay experience. We also have a curriculum piece, week 6, which covers the introductory concepts related to the fouling and free throw system. You can use that to introduce this rule to your students after watching this video.
Let's talk about fouls first. A great question to ask your students is, why would you want to foul in the game of basketball? Let's speak about 2 scenarios. First, maybe you want to break up the game. My opponent's on a hot streak, hitting a bunch of shots. I want to foul their players to give my players a little bit of a rest. The same can be done in NBA math hoops. But looking at the statistics, we want to use the mathematical understanding of the player cards to make a foul decision.
So I'm going to go ahead and work through my turn, eventually getting to the number 6. This is where I'm going to choose to take my shot from for this turn. So I take my player token, place it on that position, which is a green 2-point shot, and then look at my green player. I have DeAndre Jordan on my team. His field goal percentage is 70.3%. So he's got a pretty good shot of making this 2-point basket. But his free throw percentage is 43%. So by picking him to take the shot, I'm taking a little bit of a risk.
As a defender, I noticed the discrepancy between his field goal percentage, 70%, and his free throw percentage, 43. I see all that gray in the grid going on there. I'm thinking, I'm gonna foul.
So Jeremiah's weighing whether to foul or not. I take my spinner, put it down on top of the player card.
And before he shoots, I say foul. Hack a DeAndre Jordan.
Once Jeremiah calls a foul, I now need to take free throws. Because I'm taking a shot from a 2-point position, I get 2 free throws. If I were going to take a shot from a 3-point position, I would get 3 free throws. Let's take a look at the grid on the back of the NBA Math Hoops player card. First of all, you'll notice that there are 100 boxes. Every orange box corresponds to a made shot out of 100. Every gray box corresponds to a missed shot. Across the bottom, you'll see there are numbers 0 to 9, which are red. Up the left side, you'll see numbers 0 to 9, which are blue. Those correspond to the color of the dice. So you're going to use this grid as a coordinate plane. In order to take my free throw, I'm going to roll both die and get 2 numbers. I have a red 5 and a blue 3. I go over and up to see if I make or miss the shot. And then I roll again, get an additional 2 coordinates, red 2, blue 0, over and up, and I see if I miss the shot. Depending upon how many shots I make, I put those points on the scoreboard and we move forward with Jeremiah's turn.
So let's review the foul and free throw process again. As a defender, I'm keeping a keen eye on Nick's players' free throw percentages, and I'm identifying the players that have a high field goal percentage, but a low free throw percentage that I may want to foul. Once Nick chooses one of those players, I wait until he places a token on that color, and before he shoots, I yell, foul.
Once Jeremiah calls foul, as the offensive team, I take free throws. I roll the dice for each turn, and then I find the coordinates on the free throw grid to determine if the intersecting box is orange or gray. If it's orange, I get 1 point. If it's gray, I don't get anything. For a 2-point shot, I get 2 free throws. For a 3-point shot, I get 3.
It's important to note that every team gets 5 fouls per half, and each player gets 3 fouls per player. You can keep track of this on the game score sheet included in the NBA Math Hoops game box.
Now, just a quick update. We no longer use the score sheets, and we no longer charge the fouls per player. So we just have the game rule. Teams are allowed 5 fouls per half. But what I love most about the fouls and the steals elements is that it makes sure and encourages every student to be engaged during the game at all times. So those are fun elements. Do we have any questions?
We got another question. Yep, we got one. You knew it.
All right. So question is about referees. Is there a referee role in the game, or is it up to the 2 teams to work any possible disagreements out about fouls, steals, that sort of thing?
I'm going to alley-oop this one to Coach Calvin.
Yeah, so we like to allow our students to work out the reffing at their own tables like that. And if there's ever an issue where maybe another student at another table could help, or an educator can come around and assist with that. Usually the questions are pretty easy to solve. Like if there's a multiplication or a dividing and rounding question that needs to be answered, that's something that I like to tell the kids, you can work it out right on that shot planner and show everyone how you got that answer. So there's a few ways that could happen, whichever way works the best. I always like to let the students troubleshoot their issues, and if need be, then the CEO can come on over and and make the final call.
Awesome. So now we're going to dive into lesson 7. This is where we introduce the shot clock. A shot clock just prevents one team from stalling out the game clock. And the way it works is that the clock starts when the dice are rolled. So failure to complete the entire turn in time results in a turnover. So that means they have to roll the dice. The sand timer gets turned over by the opposite team. They have to calculate their numbers, see who they want to shoot with, place their spinner, and shoot off the spinner. The flick of the spinner is the end of the turn. Now, again, they have 30 seconds to do that. So NBA Math Hoops uses a 30-second shot clock. We're going to see that in real time with Nick and Jeremiah.
Welcome to the NBA Math Hoops training video covering the shot clock.
An additional component to the basic game, once the students feel comfortable going back and forth several weeks into the season, they can introduce a shot clock. Now, we recommend that you introduce a shot clock during week 7. There's a curriculum piece and a tip of the week that goes along with that week 7 introduction of the shot clock.
So how do you do this? Within each game board, 2 30-second sand timers are included. You can also use our online shot clock at nbamathhoops.org/shot clock on any mobile devices or computers within your classroom. Students need to complete all components of a turn, from roll of the dice to the spin of the spinner over the pie chart, within the 30 seconds.
Now, one question your students may have is, well, when is it a turnover? Let's say, for example, Nick is rolling, he rolls the dice, I turn the sand dial over, I'm doing the math, and I'm waiting. If Nick gets a shot off, meaning he flicks the spinner before this runs out, he gets a shot off and the ball's in the air, he's good to go. If he does not, then it's a turnover, the ball goes over to me, and his turn is void.
Let's talk about a couple other scenarios where the shot clock is important. If I'm taking a turn and Jeremiah notices that my math is wrong and calls a steal, he automatically gets the ball. We reset the shot clock for him to take that shot just so he doesn't milk the clock and take his time. Also, if he calls a foul on me on my offensive possession and I have to take free throws, the shot clock is dead. I automatically take my free throws without being concerned about the clock running out.
Now we're going to say we've completed our first half. What exactly do we do at halftime? Well, we're going to have our students erase their shot planners, because if you remember, both teams are always completing the math, so they should be pretty full. But we're also going to have them switch sides of the board. Now, we do have some game rules. Teams must switch sides of the board, and the team that rolled the lower number to start the game is now going to go first. Now, a tournament rule that we have is we also encourage you to do this in your classrooms, is to have your partners switch roles. So if Coach Calvin and I are on the same team, in the first half, he's going to roll the dice and shoot the spinner while I do the math and choose where we're taking our shot. In the second half, we're going to completely switch. I'm now going to roll the dice and shoot the spinner while Coach Calvin does the math and chooses where we're shooting from. This gives us an opportunity to have teamwork and both practice our mathematical skills. Now, moving on to lesson 9, this is our trade deadline. This is the final opportunity for teams to trade players. And in NBA Math Hoops, we suggest that you have all teams trade at a minimum of 1 player. Now, in our curriculum, there's a PDF that you can print of a document for them to actually justify their trades. They'll get to write a paragraph that you as the commissioner will have to approve in order for that trade to happen. Now, a fun pro tip is an opportunity to re-engage those player cards that your students made earlier in the season and draft themselves, or they can draft you. So definitely take on that opportunity. Our students love the idea of being able to see themselves in the game of NBA Math Hoops. In lesson 12, we introduce tournament weeks or championship week. We're going to teach a little bit about the different types of brackets that we can use. We teach about single elimination brackets, much like a Sweet 16 bracket. And we'll also review round robin tournaments, which is much like the FIFA World Cup. Now, I will say, if you have the opportunity to engage in a regional tournament in person with LearnFresh, we do use both types of brackets. We start off with round robin for a couple of rounds, and then we'll take our top teams, do an Elite 8, a Final 4, and then a championship round. So we will match both of them in our tournament. Now, not to worry, I know that sometimes tournaments can be overwhelming, or if you've never done one or done a bracket, we're going to host a special webinar in December to help you prep for regionals and championship week in your classrooms. So be on the lookout on LFCA for that to come up. Do we have any questions?
No questions.
Okay, then we're going to go ahead and get you all set up with our Learn Fresh Coaches Association. I want to make sure that you have all the information you need to have a successful season. So if you have the opportunity now, please pull out your cell phone or open up a second browser. We're going to go to mylfca.com and we're going to register for an account using the promo code NBA 2021. Now, I want to reiterate that today this program is absolutely free. You're going to receive a $250 value, absolutely free. So let's go watch through this tutorial so you can see what you need to do to get started.
Hi, welcome to the Learn Fresh Coaches Association. To create an Educator account, visit mylfca.com and select register in the top right-hand corner. You'll be asked to input basic information, including your first and last name, an email address, and a phone number. You'll also be asked to share an estimated number of participating students, which is just the total number of students who could participate in the program at your site over the course of the school year. We'll also ask you to input your school or program name, as well as an address at which you'd like to receive program materials. Please make sure that it is an eligible shipping address. Finally, you can skip this question because most educators are not charged for participation in the program. And input a password that you'll remember. We encourage you to save it to your device or write it down before leaving this page. Next, you'll be asked to input an access code first. For most educators, this will be NBA 2021. This will unlock the core Matthews program, which you can then click on and select submit. After you do so, you can review our privacy notice. This just details how we take care of your data and the data of your students, which is completely anonymized within our system, and then select continue to complete the account registration process and enter the LFCA.
So just to reiterate, you are receiving the program today absolutely free. And thanks to our partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central New Mexico. So do not put any billing information, just a valid shipping address. Before I leave this page, I'd like to kind of give you a quick tour of LFCA so you know how to use it once you're logged in. Here on the left, that's that events calendar I was talking about. So to look for regional tournaments, trainings, or just special event opportunities, absolutely keep a lookout there. Up here in the program resources tab, this is where you're going to find the PDF version of our curriculum, as well as the printable player cards for your students and all of the tutorial videos. Under class data, this is where you're going to put all of your students' names who are participating in NBA Math Hoops so that we know who may be eligible for that national championship. And then finally, under the support tab, if there's one thing you take from this slide, is to submit a ticket if you need any support. So under support, you can submit a ticket that gives you direct access to Learn Fresh staff. And I personally check those on a daily basis. So if you need any support, definitely shoot us a ticket. Congratulations, you are now officially a part of the Learn Fresh and NBA Math Hoops community. I am so excited to bring you all on board. Take some time and opportunity this evening to follow us on social media, NBA Math Hoops and at Learn Fresh. We always have updates of what we're doing, all the events that we're having, or just to see our network across the country. Come take a look. Take some time also to screenshot here. These are our QR codes for the for the NBA Math Hoops digital game. And then you can screenshot this one for our Skills and Drills app. I'm sure Coach Calvin is going to tell you, please join. I want to see who can unlock jerseys quicker than me. Who are you trying to unlock right now, Coach Calvin? Oh, I can't hear you. I think you're on mute.
I'm sorry, on the digital game, I'm trying to unlock Steph Curry. I need a different point guard. But with the mobile app, though, I still got some teams I've got to unlock on those as well.
So get in there. Let's see if you can beat Coach Calvin. He's our resident pro. So, and then with Coach Calvin, I'm actually going to allow him to talk about regional and national tournaments. He's got some really great testimonials. Both him and I were invited to the inaugural national championship in San Francisco, but I'm going to let Coach Calvin tell you about this because it is one of his favorite aspects of our program.
Yeah, so the national championship was super special. My student from Detroit, Michigan, that's my hometown. He pretty much was very focused when he started playing the game and said he wanted to make it to the national championship. And I also told Nick that when I met him at the training that I was going to make it to the national championship. So we both on the same page with that. So when he got selected, he was so happy. It was his first time leaving Detroit, flying on a plane, and for it to be hosted at Stanford University, that was super special for him. That was his first time being on a college campus and seeing, what there is to look forward to after high school. A lot of students from the Detroit area, they end up kind of going towards the car business. Ford, Chrysler, and GM. That ends up being one of the spaces that they start to go into. And now he has an opportunity, a completely different opportunity. He's a senior in high school now, and he still talks about that experience, wanting to still go to Stanford University, not U of M, not Michigan State. He's still kind of locked in with Stanford. And that national championship was so special. His team, we were the Detroit Pistons team. We made it to the final game and missed with the last shot, but it was super special for him to have that opportunity, both those students, and to be able to compete and just have fun. And after the national championship game was over with, all of the kids went into a room where they all had their own chair and over $4,000 worth of swag from all the NBA and WNBA teams that helped support our company. So it was a pretty much Christmas in June, if you will. And sometimes kids, they miss out on Christmas even in December. So it was super special for all of the students. My student got a signed basketball from Magic Johnson from Michigan State in the plastic. I told him, don't you ever dribble that basketball and take it out of the plastic, because that's going to be really worth a lot of money later on. And actually right now it already is. So just an amazing experience that, like I said, he still talks about it to this day. So it's really cool to try to get a student to the national championship, because a lot of times it changes their life.
Absolutely. And to qualify for that, we're just looking for students to play a minimum of 25 games, that is digital or physical, and complete 10 lessons by February 28th. And again, keep a lookout for our regional tournaments. Those are going to be happening in select markets, and we hope to have one near you. Just to bring it home, a quick season recap. I'm sure we might have one or two questions, but just to give you a quick season recap, you've just completed training camp season, so congratulations. You can now go into season play now through January. February through March, we'll host our regional tournaments in select markets. February is our national championship applications will be due. That's going to be a video submission from you and your student. So be on the lookout for how to submit those. March through May, that's our special event season. June will be our national championship weekend in Philly. I hope to see someone from this call there. And then June through August, definitely opt into our Math Hoops Summer Edition. And then I believe we have some questions. Oh, I'm sorry, Sebastian, I can't hear you.
Sorry about that. We have a question from Nikki S., and she is asking, what is the access code?
The access code again is NBA 2021. And then not to worry, if you signed in on our attendance link, which I'll throw in the chat one more time, if you signed on there, I'm going to send out a next steps email that if you didn't have the opportunity to register for LFCA, you'll be able to do tomorrow. So not to worry.
Awesome. We have another question. Can you join the season at any time, or do you have to play the whole season?
Absolutely. NBA Math Hoops can be picked up at any time throughout the year. You can run multiple seasons throughout the year. So it's really what works best for your classroom and the demographic you're serving.
Awesome. Well, I know last night we had a little mini mini session with some classrooms here and talk about the energy. The kids loved it. The teachers loved it. It's just a great way to learn math. So again, we encourage everybody in New Mexico to get on board with MBA Math Hoops. It's totally free, and you guys will have a lot of fun with it.
And I like how the fun things happen, like in action. Like my player card slipped off the table. I was looking to shoot a shot with Dame Dollar. I couldn't, so I had to I had to take a shot with a different player. And of course, when you're excited playing a game, you know, even us as adults, we get excited. We have fun while we're playing the game. Coach Bree, she dropped her spinner at the end. I'm like, come on with the spinner. I got to get my shot up. So I'm glad that all those real-time action things actually happen. And it shows that, you know, even we have a lot of fun while playing NBA Math Hoops.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it's like in the classroom, right? And even if you aren't able to make it to one of our regional or national tournaments, it's just as impactful. It makes such a difference in our classrooms, improves our student teamwork and behavior. It was that one educational program that our students weren't begging me to put away. They were begging me to keep it out. Like they were begging to play it again. So I hope that you find the same in your classrooms.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Coach Calvin and Coach Nessa, for all your energy and for wanting to make New Mexico a better place and for being an exhibitor for Discovery Festival 2021. Until the next one, we will catch everybody later. We want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, especially NBA Math Hoops, and for Nexus Brewery, who is allowing us to stream live from their location at the restaurant. So check them out, as well as our other sponsors. So again, thank you so much. We have a whole bunch of exhibits tomorrow. Please go to our website, www.discoveryfestnm.org, to check out those exhibits. And hopefully we shall see you later. Have a good rest of the evening and take care.
Let's go. Take care.
Thank you for having us.
Coach Nessa, I don't think I told you, but I used to work for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Did you?
Yes, in Kalamazoo.
That's awesome.
Yep, I was a match specialist.
Oh, that's so cool.